Hi, I'm here today with Skelly to discuss shoulders and the nature of how shoulder injuries happen and how we can recover from them. Full disclosure, in 1985 I received my first recommendation for a shoulder surgery. In 2010 was the last time that I had a recommendation for a shoulder surgery. Never got the surgery. I was able to rehab it on my own. There was a time several years ago where I couldn't lift my arm up, above here without some degree of pain, and I integrated a significant rehab program into my shoulder, and I'll show you a video now that has me in the gym a couple days ago lifting 40-pound dumbbells overhead and maximal shoulder press. Now that you've seen that video, you can see what I can do. And again, I've dislocated both of my shoulders multiple times. I've had shattered my collarbone on this left side. On the right side, I have some nerve damage, history. But at this point, I've been able to rehab my shoulders to such a degree that they're fully functional and normal within their context. So how do we get rid of them, and where do they come from? So most shoulder injuries are from overuse. I was reaching in the back seat, or I was just slipped on it or did something overhead and my shoulder tweaked. You can come from an accident, injury, fall, or some sort of a problem that is traumatic to the shoulder, but most of the time it's from improper use. Rarely do we use our shoulders overhead as much as we used to in the past when we were building shelters and picking fruits overhead. Today we spend so much of our time, here or at a desk or, doing activity. My life works so much here, chiropractically, that it is a requirement to be overhead. So the first thing that we do is start an exercise program for the shoulder. If your shoulder is only surgically reparable, if the surgery is the only alternative for you, at least do some degree of rehab on your way in, because the rehab on your way out will be better, easier, and more effective almost all the time. And you might even be able to avoid surgery. So what we typically say with rehab, you start with the light ones, the easy ones, right? You go onto Google and you say, hey, what basic shoulder rehab exercises? You try some of these, are too easy for me. Let me try these harder ones. And you consistently move forward more and more and more. I find that exercises that work really well are front arm raises, side arm raises. Let me turn this way. Side arm raises like this. Bent over, back raises. We're going to try to do rear delt flies. Some overhead pressing, not even with a weight. You can take a small ball, put them overhead, and doing some very specific shoulder girdle exercises. And these should be, given to you by a trained, person, or you could find Google and try it on your own. And if it works, great. If not, we're getting surgery anyway. The other things that we use in the office specifically for shoulder rehab, the pulse PEMF, the magnet makes a tremendous difference in incorporating healing. Avoid sleeping on that side is very important. I personally use peptides, BPC 157 and TV 500. Enhances shoulder repair so dramatically, but there's nothing that takes the place of regular work. In addition, the chiropractic adjustments specifically for the lower cervical and upper thoracic spine are very important, because when the shoulder girdle is dysfunctional, it's going to anchor to the thoracic spine and to the cervical spine, so that it can have a compensatory movement. And the pectoralis muscle will also help to compensate. So self-massage on the pec, chiropractic adjustments to the upper back and to the neck, stretching overhead as much as you can, avoiding sleeping on that side, doing exercises, front arm raise, side arm raise, rear delt raise, incorporating specific exercises that are meant for shoulder rehab, doing the pulse PEMF, using the peptides, and hoping for the best. Shoulder girdles are something that we've worked in the office. I've been managing my own for close to 40 years now, and I've learned both clinically with patients and personally how to effectively manage a shoulder.